Welcome to my channel IT Smart Training. Today we are going to start a file server install and configure with share folder in Windows Server 2019. So before we start we have to know that what is Ntfs permission. Ntfs is a file system, is a way to organize a drive, indicating how data is stored on the drive and what types of informations can be attached to files such as the permissions and file names. NTFS, NT file system, stands for New Technology File System. Excuse me. NTFS is the latest file system that's the Windows NT operating system uses for storing and retrieving files. There is another file system that is a FAT file allocation table. FAT file system was a primary file system of Microsoft older operating system, and nowadays we are using NTFS file system primarily instead of FAT file system. FAT file system is used for small disk or simple folder structure, and NTFS file system supports larger file size and hard drives and is more secure than FAT. Microsoft first introduced NTFS in 1993 with release of Windows NT 3.1. It is a file system used to Microsoft Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows Vista, XP 2000 and Windows NT operating system as well. And NTFS file systems does only support the NTFS permissions. We can assign additional permissions to the share folder or a file. In FAT file system there is no security like NTFS. So NTFS permissions are used to manage access to file systems and folders that are stored in NTFS file system. To see what kind of permissions you will extending the share files in order, right click on the folder and go to the properties on the security tab. You just show just like this. I just show you, just go to the properties, you can get security tab. Here you can get the options to NTFS files. These are the permissions, these are the access control entries. So there is some kind of permissions over there. I just briefly describe you what it is. There is an option full control. It allows users to read, write, execute, change, delete files and subfolders. Okay. In addition, users can change a permission setting in all files or subdirectories. So in full control, if I have a full control, I can create folder files inside the directory as well, and we can change the permission as well. We can read, write and execute the files. Okay. And if I have a modify permissions, it allows users to read and write files and subfolders. Also deletations in the folder if I want to delete, and if I have a modify permissions, we just delete the folder. In read and execute, if I have a read and execute permissions, allows user to view and run executable file including scripts. If I have read and execute permissions, we allow users to run the file executing files like batch file, PowerShell script file, etc. There is an option list folder content. It permits viewing of listing and files and subfolders, well as exiting of files inheritance of the folder. So this permission is used to show the listing of subfolders. If I have edit permissions, allow users to view the folder and subfolders. Only read. If I want to delete the file, we can't. If I have a write permissions, allows users to add subfolders, allows you to write a file, this kind of permissions. and we have another option of share permissions. This option these options is shown in Ntfs partitions, as well the FAT or FAT32 partitions. So this is the share permission. If I share any folder, we set this kind of permissions over here. You just right click the folder, you go to the properties, there is a sharing tab. You can get the authentication users or whatever the users is there. Just show you, see just the sharing tab. You can go to the advanced sharing. You can share this folder. You can share it also here. Okay, so I just show you it later on my lab. Here is also the option full control change and read. I just show you once. See, advanced sharing, there is a permission full control change and read. If I want to add the user, you can. So full control enables users to read, change as well the permissions to take ownership files. Change means that user can read and execute, write, delete folders, files within the share. Read can also just read the content or read the file inside the folder. That's it. So now I go to the lab. Here I have three machines. Two machines are installed in Windows Server 2019 and one is a client machine. So this is my domain controller. We can so this is my domain controller. Okay, and this is a server 2019 machine. So I just if I want to install a file server in domain controller, we can. So I just show you the separately installing the file server over here. Okay, so at first I join this machine to the domain. I just provide an IP address. I just set the IP address at first. My server is little bit slow, so it's take time. I totally regret for that. Go to the properties of Ethernet controller. IP version 4. Type an IP address 10.0.0.2. My DC IP is 10.0.0.0.1. So this is my preferred DNS, the IP address of the domain controller. So now I go to the change settings. Change, select domain. Okay, then I just change the computer name FS, file server, domain name is smartlab.com. Okay, provide the credential of domain. recently changed the password. I just forget it. Administrator, provide the password. Domain, welcome to smartmap.com is showing. Mistake restart. I just paused the video for a few minutes. Yeah, it's started right now. I just go to the domain controller. What happened? Go to run. Type tsa.msc to activate users and computers. So here I just create a user, new user, named fsadmin, fsadmin, file server admin. Type a password. fsadmin, type a password. So these users is by default a domain users group, the member of a domain users group. Okay, so I just logged in over here. Logged in with fsadmin. It's logged in successfully. Now also I create a user, two user, e1, and u2. Okay, go over here. So I just right now I'm just opened ngr.msc to activate users and computers. So here the groups and users are over here. I just provide fsadmin, apply. I don't have any privilege to add group membership changes. So what should I do? And just go cmd, just type cmd. Oh, my server is little bit slow, so I regret for that. There is a PowerShell also over here. I just right click on PowerShell and run as administrator.
provide a mystery password. Just type over here elevasor.mgr.msc or comp.mgmt. Go to administrators, add fs fs admin is taken, apply, and OK. See, I can access the file server over here. So right now I just install, go to the server manager, and add roles and features. It's take time to load. Go to next, click on next button, next. Here always select the role based features, then click on next, select file server, file and storage service. There is an option file server. You can see here is a no share folder option over here. When I install file server, after you can see that the share folder option is automatically populated over here. So select on file server. There is a so many features of file server over here, so we will do these labs later on. So right now I am focusing in file server. Next we start with required options, check and install. So now I install my user, switch user u1, which I create. This is a client user, end user. I just logged in to check whether it's working properly or not later. So it's preparing desktop. Windows is a trial versions of Windows. So I have to log out and log in once again. I have not any adequate user rights to install this. Next file server, select file server, add and install. is checking the permission whether I have or not. Installation is started. Last time what happened, I just changed the group membership, but I cannot logged in. When I logged in my any machines, it checks the permissions. So last time I didn't do that. That's why it's showing me we don't have any adequate permissions. So the installation is progress right now. My installation is succeeded. Just close. Here you can see the share folder option. Okay, I just create a share folder. Here is so many options of share folder. There is an option Ntfs share, so I don't have any Ntfs server, so we don't use Ntfs. If I use SMP share with applications, this is for Hyper-V to create database on other server applications. If I select advanced options of SMP share, set the folder owners to access denied access from denied assistance, configure default classifications of data in the folder, and management to access policies, enable quotas. These are managed by advanced. So in a quick SMP share, there is a normal general share, but if we want to advance options in my future, so we can configure it to go to the properties dialog box. So I just select a quick next. I just select the path is a C drive. Okay, because I don't have any other drive right now. So I just type a folder name is data. Next, here is an options that is access based enumeration. By default this is disabled, so I just ticked it. So access based enumeration displays only the files and folders that user has permissions to access. If a user doesn't have the permissions to access the share folder, so after login we cannot see the share folder there. So allow caching to share this. It is used to cache the share folder informations. We can, if we want to encrypt the data inside the folder, so we can. So I just select only the enable access based enumerations, and also allow caching share. Select next, and create. See, the data is created. See here inside the data share is created. Okay, so now what to do? Go to the client machine, access fs, access just fs. Just see the data. I have to create folder from here. So folder is created. Now I provide the permissions. Go to properties, go to security, edit, add one. So read and execute, and read, write, execute permissions. Okay, and u2 I set the permission modify also. So now I logged in with use1. I just logged out once and logged in. Access the folder. See, you can see the file. If I want to delete, I can't. And if I create any file over here, test, so if I want to delete, I can delete. Okay, so in new one we have a read write execute permissions, but I don't have to modify permission, that's why I cannot delete it. u2, I just logged in with u2. See, if I logged in with fs into folder, I can create folder over here, I can delete folder, I can also delete this folder also because I have a modify permission. So this is how we can create and configure the file server. So if you like my videos, please share my videos and subscribe my channel. Thank you.